Yo, what's up, guys? We're back here, and it's going to be for the Dana White Contender Series Week 1 for 2020. Pretty excited about this. Last year, I did really well. I mean, we killed it on the Contender Series last year, so hopefully we could bring that into this year. But, yeah, before we get into it real quick, it's going to be a similar format to last year where it is going to be pre-odds, so I don't have any odds right now in terms of, who's the favorite, anything like that, not even straight money line odds. So what I'm going to do is I'm still going to give a parlay like I did last year, this same way, and most confident pick. But obviously, that's contingent on the odds, so it could change. And it's going to be a little bit different this year. Tomorrow, I'm probably going to be putting out a video on Odds HQ, and I'm going to go over the whole card on a betting angle when they do release the odds. Just talk about who I would bet on, things like that. So definitely check that video out because last year we made some pretty good money on here, but we're going to jump right into it. The first fight is Jose Flores taking on Jordan Levitt. And for Jose Luke Flores, he did fight on the Contender Series before. He took the loss there to Matt Frevola. That was his only loss of his career. Watching, the footage of his opponents and looking at his record as well, low level of opposition, very, very bad opponents. I mean, on tape, he wasn't fighting guys that were good at all. But Jordan Levitt, he's undefeated. He's 6-0. Lower competition as well, but I do believe that he's fought better competition overall than Jose Flores. And looking at the fight, I like Jordan Levitt a lot. Flores is probably better on the feet. He's going to have the range advantage with his height, with his reach. Some pretty good kicks, and his boxing is really bad, though. He holds his hands completely down. His chin is right in the air. He's super hittable. Matt Frevola was able to catch him, drop him very quickly in their fight. Frevola does have some nice body kicks. He was able to hurt Frevola with those body kicks. He's hurt other opponents with those kicks. They definitely have some power. He will throw them moving backwards. He'll throw front knees also. Doesn't really offer much else besides that. He gets backed up. When fighters get inside or back him towards the cage, he likes to clinch and look for takedowns. And he has a decent top game, but against very bad competition. He has been swept by some low-level guys. His game off his back looks very weak, and Jordan Levitt is going to want this to go to the ground. And if it does, I think he's going to absolutely dominate here. Levitt, he's a great submission grappler. Funky style, he gets the fight to the ground by any means necessary. He accepts bottom position, and he does have a good body lock off the cage, decent timing on the level changes, but he's really good with the leg locks. He'll put fighters into leg entanglements, use those to sweep, really good at sweeping from bottom, and when he gets on top, he's very good. Great back takes, really good front chokes, good arm bars. His pace and his ability to just continue to be funky, create scrambles, tires fighters out. And Flores, I did notice, gassed pretty significantly in his fight with Matt Frevola when it was a heavy grappling pace. Ultimately, man, Levitt, he hasn't shown much on the feet in his MMA fights, but I don't think he's going to need to do that here. I don't think he's going to need to strike much. He should be able to get it to the ground and get the submission in the first 2 rounds. I think it'll be, he's going to take the back and get a submission here when Flores gets a little bit tired of scrambling with him. So give me Jordan Levitt here, and I'm pretty confident he's going to get the win. This is a good one here up next. We got Luis Rodriguez taking on Jerome Rivera. And in the first fight, that fight was pretty good as well, but I think that both these guys are a little bit closer matched. This should be a more competitive fight. I believe Jerome Rivera and Luis Rodriguez, they have that, Mexican style. They're not going to quit in there. They're going to be continuing to go forward, be dogs. And, Rodriguez, he hasn't faced good competition whatsoever. This is also going to be his first fight outside of Mexico. For Jerome Rivera, he does have a couple losses, but fought much higher level competition. He's fought in bigger spots, bigger promotions. It's a striker versus grappler match with Rodriguez. He has 7 KO TKO victories. Rivera, 6 submission wins. And Rodriguez, he's a 20-year-old guy, so he's very young. Pretty good movement, though, and good straight punches. Good at using the jab to pull punches out of his opponent, slip and counter. He'll rip the body. Really nice low leg kicks. His grappling looks very questionable, though. He needs space to get his game off, and when he gets backed up, he's taken down pretty easily. Throws a lot of naked kicks, and he gives his back when he tries to stand up. He easily gives up dominant positions. He is not a very good scrambler, and I think he's going to get submitted pretty easily if this fight gets to the mat. It's weird because in his last fight, he did get dominated a bit in the first round, taken down and almost submitted. In the second round, when it started, he threw a flying knee, hurt his opponent bad, and his opponent just kind of gave up on the ground. It was a weird finish because Ferreira never tapped or anything, and Rodriguez was going for a rear naked choke, and the ref just waved it off. But it did look like Ferreira didn't want to be in there anymore. Rodriguez looks okay, but needs to shape up a little bit. He's a little bit green in some areas. Jerome Rivera, he isn't terrible. His striking has improved a lot. He has a better defensive guard. He throws more jabs, more straight punches, throws a lot of nice kicks, and his main objective really is just to walk fighters down, shoot in against the cage, and he's gotten pretty dangerous in the clinch with his Muay Thai. Pretty good level changes, good doubles, good duck unders to the back. He'll get some takedowns in the clinch. When Rivera gets the fight to the mat, I think he's going to have a huge advantage here. He has good ground and pound, good passing ability, and I think he could finish the fight quickly here if it gets down to the ground. He'll get some flying triangles I've seen in the past. He has good triangle arm bars, mounted triangles, good rear naked chokes. If he doesn't finish quickly, he has the better pace and cardio as well. Pushes a super high pace. Rodriguez has a chance to catch him with a shot and knock him out. I'm not sure either fighter is UFC caliber, but I would be surprised to see Rodriguez get the win here. I think Rivera, probably would get a first round finish here on the ground, but it's an interesting fight here. Up next here we got Uros Medic taking on Mikey Gonzalez. And I was looking at the Tapology, man. They got 90% of people thinking that Uros Medic is going to win. That's crazy, in my opinion. I mean, Medic, he's undefeated. He's a Serbian fighter. He's fighting out of Alaska, though, where we know that regional scene in Alaska, the AFC scene, has done horrible in the Contender Series. Mikey Gonzalez, he's coming out of California here. He is taking the fight on short notice. And I mean, Medic, he's beaten no fighters of note. Mikey Gonzalez, he's also faced pretty putrid competition. He's 7-1. Medic, he doesn't impress me, man. He has decent striking, but I watched a fight where he was getting taken down. He lost a round to a 1-4 fighter. I've seen him thrown by a 0-1 fighter. He just looks like he doesn't know how to defend takedowns in the clinch. I will say, I guess he did show some improved takedown defense in his last fight. He's clearly working on it, but that was against a horrible opponent. And he did hit a triangle in a recent fight. He's an aggressive striker. He's long for the division. Long punches, nice kicks, nice knees, but he's hittable himself. And I don't know. When fighters panic wrestle, he can get on top. He has pretty good ground and pound. You could tell he's an explosive finisher. But that's about all I can give him. And Mikey rolls. He's a southpaw. He's a switch stance striker. Karate stance. He tries to, be in and out, uses kicks. Throws a ton of lead leg side kicks to the body. Really nasty hook kick. He knocked out a ton of guys with that hook kick, man. And some nice front kicks up the middle. He'll throw a nice one, too. Doesn't really use the hands very much. He is a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, but I haven't really seen him go for takedowns in any of his fights. This probably is going to be a range striking fight. The fight is really hard for me to call. I mean, Medic looks a little bigger and more athletic probably, but he's facing fighters with legitimately 0 wins. He has no ground game. Can you trust Mikey to get the takedowns or even go for him? I don't know, but I'm just going to pick Mikey. He's fought the better competition. He has a brown belt. He has decent striking, more well-rounded. I'm just going to pick Mikey here. It's a tough fight to call, but if the line is super wide, I think Mikey is definitely worth a play. Up next here, we got Kenny Cross, Damonte Smith. And Kenny Cross, he was originally scheduled to face Kevin Siler, but now he's going to be facing Damonte, who's 6-1-1. And Cross, he's been a pro over 4 years, and he's been recently defeating some pretty decent competition. He's coming off a first-round knockout of Robert Hale, who's a good regional CM prospect. He took out another 13-4 fighter in Jonas Flick with a nice uppercut knockout. Other than that, the competition that he's been able to defeat has been very low. He does have 3 losses as well. Demonte Robinson, he's a wrestler who's fought low-level competition, but his lone loss was to UFC fighter Devontae Smith. And recently he's had a draw with a 3-1 opponent. split decision over a 3-0 opponent in January. This is a sizable step up for Robinson because most of his opponents have had less than 5 pro fights. And when you look at this fight, I mean, Robinson looks like a pure wrestler. He looks like his striking is a little bit rudimentary, a little bit green, but he is an athletic guy. And it looks like, he just tries to move, time the level change, control on top. He has decent ground and pound against some low-level guys. When guys give up the back, he will take the back and look for the rear naked choke, things like that. But looks like his jiu-jitsu is very low-level as well. I mean, when you're getting submitted from Devontae Smith when you're on top of him with a triangle, I mean, that's not very good. I've seen him get swept by some other guys that don't really have, great ground games. But the thing about it here is I do think that he has a potential chance at victory because Cross as well, man, his grappling is not very good. And he gives up his back a lot. He gives up his back. So, I mean, Robinson has a chance, but on the feet, it's Cross all day. Cross actually pretty athletic guy, good distance control. He has a good jab, and you'll use that to kind of, bait guys to throw, and then you'll pull counter with some big shots. Good kicks as well. And he's just going to be the much better striker. He has one-punch power. He was basically losing that whole fight versus Jonas Flores, who was a guy with a pretty good record, 13-4. He was just getting taken down, dominated. But he does show, good ability to just survive, continue to get back up to his feet. He doesn't quit on himself, which that's good to see. And, I feel like Cross probably is just going to be able to get the knockout here, or if it gets to the ground, get back up. And I just think he's going to find a TKO, KO at some point. He's finished all of his wins. He's just fought the much higher level competition. I do kind of think that, I don't know. I mean, like I said, Robinson has a chance, but I think that Cross is probably one of the safer picks on the card here because, like I said, he's actually defeated some good fighters. And Robinson, I just think that he's too one-dimensional. I think that he needs to work on the jiu-jitsu a little bit, work on the striking a little bit, and become more of an MMA fighter because right now he's just a wrestler. So I'm going to go with Cross here for the victory inside the distance. And up next here, we got the main event here. TyFlores taking on Dustin, Jacoby. Two good camps going at it here. Factory X, Team Elevation. Jacoby's at Factory X, Flores at Elevation. And if the name Dustin Jacoby sounds familiar, it's because he's competed in the UFC, he's competed in Bellator, he's competed in Glory. He is coming off a win over former UFC heavyweight Cody East, but this fight will actually be at middleweight, and Jacoby actually fought East in a one-night tournament, or it's actually going to be a light heavyweight, but he fought East in a one-night tournament where he won a boxing match via knockout against Tony Lopez, who's another, veteran of the sport, heavyweight MMA guy. He was able to, I believe, get a knockout in a kickboxing match, and then he got a dominant decision victory over Cody East. So he fought 3 times in one night. It was the first MMA fight for Dustin Jacoby in over 4 years, but Jacoby kept active, in kickboxing. He even defeated current UFC fighter Carl Roberson. And he looked pretty good in the fight with Cody East. He stayed calm. He pumped the jab. He ate up East's leg. And even dropped him when he started to come in too hard on him. And he needs to have that same game plan here. Touch with the jab. Use the low kicks. Keep the range. Get his opponents desperate. And when he comes in crazy, land the counter and finish him. And Jacoby, his takedown defense and get-ups aren't bad either. I mean, his cardio looked good versus East. When Flores gets sloppy with the level changes, the counter knees, the uppercuts are going to be coming. And obviously on the feet, Jacoby's going to have a huge advantage. He's been in the cage with world-class strikers. He's fought, the best of the best in kickboxing. And, he's fought much better competition in MMA as well. I mean, he's fought guys like King Mo, guys like David Branch, who have taken him down, and he's been able to stand up, which is telling, man. I mean, I think Jacoby, he's only 32 years old. He still, has a lot left here. And TyFlores, he's coming out of Elevation Fight Team, who's been on a huge run of late, so that is good to see. And he's gone 5-0 after a 2-fight losing streak here to earn this opportunity. But he just doesn't look very good to me at all. His striking is very poor. he looks kind of like a mediocre wrestler grappler. On the feet, he's just very sloppy, tries to use a lot of kicks, but his hands, man, I just don't like his hands. He just will move, try to avoid getting hit, and just try to time an opportunity to close the distance, or he just decides to trust his chin, go in there and brawl, and use that to get in the clinch. But he really just likes to backfire to the fence, get in on a single, get in on a double, hit the takedown. He does have a nice lift from the single leg. He'll hit that high crotch, and he looks strong. I mean, he's tough, he's relentless. That's his best trait. He can take a shot, he's willing to survive, he sticks to his game plan, he's willing to take a beating and come back. He tires these guys out after they beat him up, and he takes them out. I mean, I've seen him get dominated with the grappling even as well, which is his forte, for like 2 rounds. His opponent gassed out, he took the back, choked him out. But on top, Flores is nothing special either. He's more of a lay and pray guy, but will throw some ground and pound from inside his opponent's guard. Once he gets these low-level guys tired, then he can progress to mount or the back, finish the fight. He does have 3 rear naked chokes. He has a TKO for mount. From what I see, I mean, the guy just isn't overly skilled anywhere. He wins fights by training in elevation, having cardio to push, being pretty big for the division, and just being a decent grappler, breaking fighters with the wrestling pace. And he has beaten former UFC fighter in James Bogdanovich, but Bogdanovich is not very good, and that was a close fight where he was getting outstruck by Bogdanovich pretty badly. But I think Jacoby is probably the best fighter he's ever faced, and maybe Flores would be able to use his size, bully, get Jacoby tired, get takedowns, but I don't see that, man. I think Jacoby will get a knockout early in the first round. Flores comes wild, and I mean, he's going to give the opening. Even if this is a slow-paced decision fight, I think Jacoby will run away with it also. Jacoby, for me, is going to get a first-round KO. So I'm going with Dustin Jacoby here. And so for the preliminary parlay of the week that I'm going to give here, it's going to be Jordan Leavitt and Jerome Rivera. I don't know what the odds are going to be on that, but if it is anything reflective of the Tapology where they have Rodriguez as a 75% likelihood to win, maybe you just only bet Rivera straight and bet Leavitt straight. But as of now, that's going to be the parlay here. And like I said, if you want to check out the odds video tomorrow, you really should do it, because I'm going to be, breaking down the odds for every fight. I'm going to have multiple bets that I'm going to give out. And, it should be fun. So check out Odds HQ tomorrow for that. And thanks for watching, guys. Let's kill it again on the Contender Series this year.